It was Alexa Bliss, right? You beat
The
for the
fact that they
title
had me
first time.
fighting Alexa Bliss at all was fucking ridiculous.
but
and you want to know
know,
why they had me against Alexa Bliss?
Yes.
Because she had
Yes.
the most merch sales at the time.
Right, exactly.
On that side. Like, what
And-
the fuck?
And
Like,
right
that's
there,
your decision-making process?
Not the worst decision-making process, surely.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. We have a joke, Ben and myself, when she first got there and she was snuck into the Royal Rumble, I think it was Philadelphia, and she was talking about $15 salads and all this thing, and she was talking it up like it's a resort lifestyle or whatever, and then the reality sets in after a while of being there that this stuff is not easy. And I think that was the beginning of the end. Even the first run where she ended up, what was it, WrestleMania 31 in Levi Stadium, her and The Rock, or her and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie. Excellent match. They did a great job. Levi Stadium. No, it was an outdoor stadium. Levi was Triple H versus Sting. I'm sorry.
Well, there was the Rock.
Was it Dallas? Was it 32?
I think it'd be 32 because I think like maybe the year before. No, hang on. Let me just.
No,
find
the year
this out.
before. No, the year before. Rock brought her out.
Yeah, but that wasn't the year before. I thought it was that was like 3 years before, wasn't it? Well, she was still on the undefeated. I think she was still undefeated then. At that time, that was like 2 or 3 years earlier, and then in 2018, that's WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. It was Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey and Triple H and Stephanie.
Sorry, man, time goes by quick. That was an excellent match, but by that point, I think she started to see this is a grind. This is definitely a grind. Then the second time, she had a family. So right there, that's a tough thing. And right there, it's tough for any mom to leave her kid and go to work every day and come home, but she was going on the road. And I think after the bloom came off the rose, as Vince McMahon would say, and she was just another worker, she had to kind of, I guess, re-earn the top spot or keep the top spot from improving and learning, and she didn't see herself that way. I think she would have done, during this era, the TKO era, I think she would do great because she would have limited reps, limited matches, limited appearances, and it would take longer for whatever unhappiness in her to fester up.
She was in 2018, 2019 run and the 2022, 23 run. She did like 75 matches each run, which for 2025 would make her one of the most working people in the entire company, I guess, because they've eliminated house shows. But let's get back to the Alexa Bliss thing. Why do you think she would have a problem with Alexa Bliss? Do you think it's purely a size thing? Or she's got an actual issue with Alexa that we don't know about?
Well, we don't know about it, so we can't comment on that. But I definitely think it's the size and the fact that Ronda Rousey is an MMA fighter. Alexa Bliss she's a wrestler. She can work. She looks good. She draws money. But the problem is she's still, 5'0", 4'11", 100 pounds. But what did you think was going to be in WWE? Because more of the girls are like that. I'm surprised they didn't put her against Nia or anything like that, like to have some other different type matches. Maybe it was a test. See, that's the thing right there, James. She doesn't understand what a test is in pro wrestling. What's your attitude going to be like? And she failed the test. But she's not totally wrong. Like, look at me and look at her. She comes up to my belly button. What am I going to do?
Right, there's 3 points here that I think it makes no sense for her to complain about. One, she worked with Liv Morgan for months in the first run and the second run. Didn't seem to be a problem for her. Secondly, Alexa was the champion at the time. So if you want to be the champion, you kind of have to work with Alexa. And 3, during, on the belt switch at SummerSlam 2018, Alexa got 0 offensive moves in at all. It was a 100% one-sided squash. So what's the problem?
Did Alexa win the title that night, or Ronda won it from her?
No, Ronda won the title.
I'm just memorable moment. I forgot it.
Well, a memorable. No, but that's the point. It's like
so. This is. Well, wait a minute. Give me a timeline on this. So when she won the title with 100% offense, 0 on Alexa's part, that was during the first run.
First run.
So she's complaining about wanting to work at Alexa on the second run or during that first run?
No, the first run apparently, because she had the most merch sales.
But that's how you book wrestling. The people that draw the
know.
most amount of money. You want to work the person that's drawing the most amount of money. I don't get it. And it's a title match that you won over and you squashed her. Okay, I'm with you. I'm trying to get the full context here. But then again, somebody sitting at home years later and writing revisionist history in their mind about how things worked. We try our best to be accurate, but I'm sure you've worked with a lot of pro wrestlers, and this is a pro wrestling type complaint, right? When somebody looks back at it, they look back at it with completely skewed facts about how it went down. We try to be careful to not do that, but she could be more of a worker than we realize.
I sort of don't think she understands pro wrestling at all. I sort of get the idea that she... she comes across like she knows everything. Yet she doesn't seem to know the basics of anything about pro wrestling. She was shoved in, smashed over. A superstar paid very, very well. I suspect still paid more in UFC because, she main evented a lot and sold a lot of pay-per-views for UFC.
What's funny is I had a really terrible thought of the potential. You said she didn't have a clue about wrestling or anything. I mean, at least she had a clue that it was work and you're not supposed to hurt the other person. I know she's done acting, so she knows the falls and the fake fighting and stuff like that from movies. But think about it. What if she came straight from MMA and she was wired that way and there was something she didn't like in the ring? We could have a Roger Jackson situation with somebody that's potentially unstable. I might be going way far in that direction, but who would have thought that would have happened? You see what I mean? And you have somebody here that, my God, I mean, I would turn around and make her and Goldberg a team because these two people are very unhappy.
I'm going to give you one more quote. Another interview. It was a lot of needless anxiety and things like that. This is Ronda talking about her time in WWE and why she isn't going to return. And the whole company was just a chaotic show on the inside. And then they ended up dropping all my friends, Rousey said, pointed to her former stablemate Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke. So I really have no reason to go back. I wanted to do a run with the 4 Horsewomen, and I never got to do that. And now I feel like I've already accomplished everything that I wanted to in WWE, and all that's really left for me is to go there and have fun with my friends, and none of my friends are there anymore.
How much are you getting paid?
Yeah, probably. It's tough to feel sorry for a multimillionaire.
But it's not fun. I'll tell you what, it's less fun. It's less fun being in the Stevie Richards spot. But if I was making a ton of money, I'd be like, roll that Marine trailer during commercial because I'm getting paid the same no matter what. And I'll make this match as short as I can. Man, that's a very entitled, spoiled quote and soundbite. Your friends aren't there? You want to start the 4 Horsewomen? I mean, come on. I thought that was stupid to begin with. And when people try to recreate the horse, it didn't even work with Paul Roma. It barely worked with Lex Luger and Barry Windham. So whatever. I mean, that's just something with that when you look back. And her, I don't know this woman. I do give her credit because guess what? Pro wrestling is a chaotic show. It really is. She was right there. But the shock of seeing that, we're in the bubble still to some degree. We kind of understand it. But if you told somebody who was totally unfamiliar with wrestling, how it goes, they'd be like, oh my God, why would I even do that? She was very coddled, very spoiled, and very protected in UFC up until a certain point. She was very spoiled, very coddled, and very protected in her first run in WWE. And then she just became one of the talents and didn't like that. She essentially felt like every talent who comes in at the top then kind of gets lost in the shuffle and then can't fight their way out of it because they're not good enough or they didn't politic enough or they started complaining and then it starts going like this.
There was complaints about the fans just before she returned in 2022. She made it very clear she hated wrestling fans, or a lot of them. She made it very clear during her run she was making Instagram videos burying octogenarians in the back because they wouldn't let her use thumbtacks in a match. And it was like a throwaway match with Shotzi Blackheart, and it was awful. It was a terrible match. And I remember watching that and thinking, Well, good. I mean, maybe that should be saved for a match with heat and, a blow-off kind of thing.
You know what
and not
she
just
said?
like this, yeah.
I know exactly what she did. Her Shotzi and her were talking, and then they went up to the agent and said, you know what would be cool?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I mean, when she came back and she was waving and smiling at people, and then she put on the angry face kind of thing, it was a total disconnect. She was so much worse in that second run, and she couldn't, like, her star power from the first run, like, even her last match in the first run with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in WrestleMania 35, I think, and they completely screwed up the finish to that. Because Ronda Rousey refused to tap out to an armbar. So therefore they had to work out like a pinned crucifix kind of thing, I don't know, that got so badly botched that everybody thought that there was going to be like a follow-up match for like a disputed Dusty Road style
I remember that.
finish.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was not a good match either.
No, it just turns out it was screwed up. And her contract was up and that was it.
She had a good, you talk about the Riddle stuff that we talked about in the previous segment. She looked a gift horse in the mouth. That was the ultimate gift horse. And if she had hung on, or at least was very gracious on the way out and kept her mouth shut, then TKO would have picked her up again. I'm guaranteeing you that. She had such a connection. Unless UFC, for some reason, was tired of her, maybe she had the same pattern of behavior. I know that she didn't have what WWE thought she would have because she lost a string of fights, correct? She was definitely on the down.
2, yeah.
So once you lose like that and you go to WWE, but then again, I think it served her better because if she was undefeated going in WWE, she wouldn't put anybody over. She wouldn't sell for anybody. Why would you? If you're undefeated in UFC, it would definitely hurt your credibility. But she didn't have any credibility at the end of that.